I used to hate living. I used to hate existing. I used to despise every single waking moment of my life. I think sometimes, for people who have dealt with anxiety and depression, we can relate on the fact of feeling like, what's the point of me living? What is the point of me being here? What does my presence add to the world? What does it really do for me being alive? Once you get to understand that the world is not happening to you, it's happening for you. You just need to now figure out what is it that you're wanting to take out of life. I say that God saved me. God saved me through music. God saved me through things that I almost let slip away from me. And I think that, amongst us in the African community, it's not common to talk about suicide. It's not common to talk about mental health and depression and anxiety, especially in the younger generation. I feel like we always have this stigma placed upon us that we don't know what it feels like to really be in pain. We don't know what it feels like to be in so much torment every day. What do you have to be anxious about? What do you have to be depressed about? And that's what puts us in positions of not speaking, not being truthful with ourselves, not being honest with ourselves, not being honest with other people because of that fear that nobody would understand. I've always felt as if no matter who I talk to, no matter how I put across my feelings, my thoughts, it was never truly understood. It felt like I was always screaming, shouting for help. I felt like I was always drowning and I could never find anyone to grab hold on. And that's when I think leaning into God was everything for me, and it changed my whole entire perspective of life. I got to understand through reading the Bible, God has amazing plans for you. And I'd always grown up feeling very inadequate because I never felt like I wanted the same things that other people wanted for me. And when you're fighting that battle of, you want to do this and other people are like, no, that doesn't make sense. You're not gonna, what makes you think you're gonna succeed in something? What makes you think you're gonna be the one to be successful in this field, in this and that, when you're doing things unconventionally? What makes you feel like that? And when you're constantly being fed with so many questions and not solutions, no answers, you end up finding yourself in a whirlwind of, what am I doing here? The time that I started to give myself up to something that was higher than myself is when things started to make sense, because it felt as if there was finally something that I could believe in. There was finally something that made sense. And that was through every single time I'm reading the word and it's telling me that all your battles, that all your struggles, that all your fears are for a reason. Everything that you've been through is for a reason. Everything that you struggle with is for a reason. And sometimes you don't want to see the reason because we want to revel in the pain. Sometimes situations arise so that they challenge you to be more patient, to be more understanding, to be more considerate. The only way that you can do that is experiencing the pain of it all. Experiencing situations that make you have to be patient. Before, it just felt like things were happening to me. Why is this happening to me? Why did I grow up like that? Why didn't I have? And I always questioned, why is it that I didn't grow up with my parents? And as I was younger, I used to contemplate on this a lot. And I think that when you are living outside of your home and you're living with different people and having to stay in so many people's houses and ABCDFG, there's so much what can I call it, identity crisis, let's just say. I think that when you've lacked stability in your life, when everything has always been a whirlwind and there's never been a place for you to feel secure, it's difficult now to figure out who you truly are. And I think that's sometimes the internal battle that we go through as we grow up and we don't deal with the past traumas, we don't deal with the things of the past. Every single time anything difficult tries to challenge me, the spiritual warfare that I go through is crazy, and it really teaches me something, because I have to always be conscious about reminding myself that everything is happening for a reason. It's happening for me, not to me. So once I understand that, I can now utilize that and put that into every single thing that I put myself into. And I say that God saved me through music, because I remember so many times sitting down and asking myself, what am I doing? What am I meant to do? you know. And music has always been something for me that has been a constant since I was young. I've always, if you ask anybody, ask anybody, I have always said that I want to be a musician, I want to be a singer. You know, I always dreamed for that life for myself. I was envied and watched the celebrities on TV, and I'd want to be just like that. And I never thought that I would actually find myself in a position of living that reality, living that dream. I never thought that it could happen for me. I always felt extremely inadequate, and I always felt like I was not good enough. Never good enough. Never could be one of the greats, you know. And there's so many factors around you that can also aid to that understanding. But what it was for me was sitting down with God and actually asking God, what is it that you want from me out of this life? What is it that you want me to do? What is it that you want me to achieve? I always try to go into deep prayer and listen to what God's trying to tell me back. And, you know, he's like, do this art thing, do this music thing, do the things that make you happy, be creative, right? And I'm like, but that's going against everything. And I remember that resistance that I was feeling. Even through the resistance, I still found my strength in music. I found every single part of me was able to be put into something creative. And now whenever I feel angry, whenever I feel sad, whenever I feel happy, whenever I feel confused, conflicted, overwhelmed, insecure, whatever it is, I put it into music. And I always pray and I ask God to bless my mind, bless my voice, you know, so that I can write the words, so that I can create a song, so I can create something that I can share with you all. And if I didn't have this, I honestly think that I would be so lost. You know, if God didn't show me that I actually was worthy of receiving this gift, that I was worthy of being able to be a vessel that shares the magic of emotion through sound, the magic of, you know, my pure soul, everything in me, and putting it into my music, and I'm releasing it, I'm giving to you guys. And that's my identity now. That is who I identify myself as a musician, as a creative, as somebody who creates. And for so long, feeling inadequate, feeling like I could not achieve that, you know, all the negative thoughts, all the times that the devil would always tell me that I'm not good enough, and believing that for years and years and years, and almost getting to the point of unaliving myself because I felt like I wasn't good enough to be alive. Is crazy. Multiple times when I've been in situations of, you know, feeling like my life was not worth anything, that it was time for me to give it up, you know, that it would be better off if I wasn't here. You know, I always remember that being a thing. I mean, I would be less of a burden, you know, and, you know, there's a moment in time when I stopped thinking about myself like that. You know, I believe that everybody is worth something. So that means that I'm also worth something. That's definitely what I learned through God. That God loves everybody. That every hair on your head has been accounted for. I think that we live in a world that's always trying to tell us that we're nothing. Other people will bring you down because they don't want to see the truth in themselves. When you're rising above and when you're shining and when you're changing and evolving, sometimes people don't like to see that, so they try to dim that down. They try to dim your light. They try to put you in a box with them. And we're always having to fight that resistance. And I promise you, like, yo, through God, I would not have been able to do it. I promise you that. There's been so many times in my life where I felt as if giving up was the only option. Not being alive was the only option. Not existing was the only option. But now I can actually say that I get to enjoy life. That every single day I know that it's a choice that I make on whether I want to be happy, whether I want to be content, whether I want to have faith, have hope, you know, whether I want to maintain and have a positive mindset and, you know, stay in a certain frequency and attract the things that I want to attract. One thing that somebody's always telling me is that, you know, your words have power. And I don't deep it enough. I don't deep it enough. And I think in my book today, it was also talking about that, how your mouth is extremely important. You know, the things that you say, the things that you believe, the things that you think, are really important, and they manifest into the reality of your life. And, you know, sometimes I really don't deep it, and I say things that I don't mean. I say things that I just say in the spur of the moment when I'm feeling frustrated and angry. My weekend didn't end how I wanted to end. I not in the best of books with somebody who I want to be in the best of books with, and you know, I almost let my emotions run so much into that. And then I had to decide today that I had to wake up and choose myself. I had to wake up and listen to the voice of God. That is to get up, be better, do more, work on myself, evolve, grow, be patient. I always ask God for patience. Oh gosh, I always ask God for patience, because it's one thing that I feel like I find difficult. I feel like I need that, because it will allow me to be patient, you know, for people, yeah, but just also patient enough to wait for all the good things that God has coming for me. The message that I really wanted to portray today is that you are worth something. You know what I'm saying? You are worth something. You are extremely important, you know, to your world, the world that you're living in, the time that you have on this earth. You know, for those of you who are dealing with, you know, thoughts of suicide and contemplating, I promise you, life is so much bigger than you think, and how you're feeling now is not how you'll feel forever. I tweeted something today, how I'm realizing how things are really truly temporary. Emotions, feelings, situations, days, hours, minutes, it's all temporary. It comes and it goes, and you just now have a choice on which frequency you want to live on, how you want to live your life. You know, what plane are you wanting to live on, how you're wanting to exist whilst all of this is just passing by. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do feel myself slipping in and out of a state of worry and anxiousness and panic and frustration and sadness, and I find myself trying to look for who will save me. I think that that's the difficult thing about growing up as well, I think, is realizing that you have to save yourself. Sometimes the only thing that can save you is God. You know, no matter how much you want people to understand you, you know, if you're in a relationship, sometimes you want your partner to fill a hole, a gap that's there, that's missing within you, and you can't do that. You know, you have to fight these internal battles. You know, even through friendships and relationships with family members, always remember that people are not going to save you. My frontal lobe has fully developed, y'all. We're getting to the end of the year. I'm turning 26 next year, and I'm just sitting here thinking, damn, yeah, life is lifing, and you know, I'm just putting everything to God at this point in time. You know, I'm putting everything to God, and I'm just praying every single day, you know, for God to give me strength. I feel like that's the one thing that I always pray from God is for strength. I think we really need that, you know, and we clamor and we find the will to live. But every day is a new day. Every day is a new chance, a new opportunity for us to grow, to change, to be who we want to be. And we got this. Yeah. It's a Monday. The sun is shining. It's a good day. Today I just thought that I'd just have a yapper. I just yapper for y'all and tell you guys what's kind of been on my mind. I haven't been as active as I'd like to be on YouTube. I don't want to neglect my page, because I love this page. I love this page, and I love the fact that it's growing, and I love all the people that stay tuned and watch, and we grow together and learn together. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to chat about this down below. I'd love to have a chat about this.